Tissue compare the case are inappetite and depressed 2 weeks ago since the 25th of September. Seizure flow time for 2 minutes long in different time. History taking no heat trauma and no deworming program, 100% posturing without consistent feeding. Physical exam, the cow has high temperature which was 103.6 Fahrenheit. That shows the cow has fever, 7% dehydrated and phragmiasis at the right side of anus. For problem list, it can divided into 2 parts, which are specific problem is seizure and non-specific problem are fever, lost appetite, and dehydration. The first problem, seizure, it can divided into 2 parts, which are intracranial seizure and extracranial seizure. For intracranial seizure, it can be caused by infection, trauma, or injury, congenital malformation. We can rule out botulism, folate, Lewy, hypoxemia, ischemia, brain injury, and intracranial hemorrhage, hydrocephalus, hydranencephaly, because there are no history. But we cannot rule out sepsis for infection, so we did blood collection for complete blood count to check health status.
For extracranial seizure, it can be caused by metabolic disorder, liver failure, toxicity, blood parasite infection, but we cannot rule out hypoglycemia, metabolic acidosis, electrolyte disturbance, liver failure, toxicity, blood parasite infection. For hypoglycemia, it can be checked by blood glucose analysis. For metabolic acidosis, it can be checked by blood gas analysis. For electrolyte disturbance, it can be checked by blood electrolyte analysis. For liver failure, it can be checked by blood chemistry analysis. We cannot rule out toxicity such as herbicides due to the history taking. For blood parasite infection, it can be checked by blood smear for blood parasite detection. For the treatment of the first day, which is 7th of December, was following by IV fluid therapy. According to the calculation, the cow should get 30 liters of fluid for correcting hydration status, but we can give only 2 liters of Aceta and Aceta 5 due to the bad weather in that day. For medicine, penicillin, streptomycin LA, phenylbutazone hydroquinone, and cadosol were used. For wound management, the wound was scrubbed by 0.05% of chlorhexidine, debride debris, and remove lava, and then refilled with the solution of betadine mixed with fly repellent powder.
For initial plan, diagnostic tools that were used in this case are complete blood count, blood chemistry analysis, blood parasite examination, blood glucose analysis, and blood gas analysis. But we cannot examine blood glucose analysis and blood gas analysis because blood glucose analysis must be analyzed within 2 hours, and blood gas analysis wasn't available at Livestock and Wildlife Hospital. Laboratory results on hematology show that the cow had leukocytosis, neutrophilia, increased red blood cell count, microcytic, low MCH, hypochromic, thrombocytopenia, and isocytosis and hyperproteinemia. Microcytic can be caused by iron deficiency, blood loss, intestinal parasite infection, copper deficiency. Hypochromic and low MCH can be caused by anemia, iron deficiency, copper deficiency, or toxicity. We can rule out anemia and toxicity because there are no history and laboratory results that related. Thrombocytopenia can be caused by decreased production, immune-mediated destruction, increased utilization, and sequestration. We can rule out bone marrow neoplasia, drug, fungal infection, hemolytic anemia, and severe hemorrhage because there are no history and clinical signs that related. For blood chemistry found increased blood urea nitrogen, but blood parasite test is negative. From lab result, we can rule out thrombocytopenia from sequestration.
Next is revised assessment. Intracranial seizure can be caused by sepsis. Extracranial seizure can be caused by metabolic disorders such as hypoglycemia, metabolic acidosis, and also caused by toxicity such as herbicide. And for thrombocytopenia, bacterial infection, parasitic infection, and viral infection cannot be ruled out yet because of the lab result and clinical signs. Next is the second day is on the 8th of September. After doing history taking, the owner suspects his cow has been grazing herbicide contaminated grass that are paraquat and glyphosate. Physical examination showed that the cow had increased lung sound on both sides, expiratory dyspnea and mucopurulent nasal discharge, with 7% dehydration and no fever. So the specific problems are increased lung sound, expiratory dyspnea, and mucopurulent nasal discharge. These problems are the problem of respiratory system, which can be caused by bacterial infection, viral infection, fungal infection, and parasitic infection. For initial find, fecal examination by fecal flotation and fecal sedimentation. We found Sangai type A grade T.
The next is the Thursday, is on the 9th of September. It found that the cow's health status has improved. Physical examination on the 9th of September shows some of abnormalities that are the hydration status. The hydration status is still 7% dehydrated with pink mucous membrane. Human contraction rate was 2 times in 2 minutes, and it found the cow had hypersalivation. For initial plans, blood collection was done for complete blood count, blood chemistry analysis, and blood electrolyte analysis. The laboratory result of the 9th of September on hematology, it showed the lymphocytosis. And the result also show how low hemoglobin, low MCH, hypochromic, thrombocytopenia, anisocytosis, and hyperproteinemia. And for blood chemistry, it shows low ALT, azotemia, and hyperammonemia. For blood electrolyte result, it shows hypocalcemia and hypomagnesemia. Azotemia can be divided into three parts, which are pre-renal azotemia, renal azotemia, and post-renal azotemia. But we focus on pre-renal and renal azotemia first due to the previous information. For treatment, wound management and collecting hydration status were done. Penicillin streptomycin LA was used. We changed the Khaosuk to Fercoxan and biocatharin instead, and ivermectin for deworming. So according to the previous information, finally we got the differential diagnosis for this case. The first one is the metabolic disorder that can cause by hypoglycemia, metabolic acidosis, electrolyte disturbance. And the second one is the respiratory problem, but we believe it's just the incidence for infection, and the renal failure that can cause by the acute kidney injury on top of chronic kidney disease from herbicide. And finally, the presumptive cause of death of this case is herbicide toxicity induced renal failure.
Okay, for the next part, I will focus on pathophysiology of herbicide that relate to seizure and renal failure. The glyphosate will increase ammonia in blood, called hyperammonemia. Increasing ammonia can affect the cattle showing seizure, which the Khaosuk clinical sign. In addition, glyphosate compound can cause dilations of bone space, accumulations hyaline droplets in tubular epithelial cells in the proximal tubule, and reduce blood perfusions. Finally, it causes kidney injury. You will see the blood chemistry parameters such as creatinine and urea will be increasing. Finally, acute kidney injury will be happen. The other substance, pyridinium, which is the chemical compound of paraquat, will accumulate in renal tubule cells and generate reactive oxygen species. It will cause proximal tubule damage, kidney injury following, and the blood chemistry, creatinine will be increasing and renal failure as well. Next, I will wrap up the disease progressions for you all to know about Khaosuk. First, when Khaosuk went out to the field eating plants with the owner's spray herbicides, she's gonna be seizure. Moreover, strongyloidiasis can also cause seizure. By the way, the wound on her anus, which the fly swarms and bore the fistula, can cause myiasis. The clinical signs such as sepsis and inappetite are the subsequence of seizure and myiasis. The cattle became to be fever, hypoglycemia, ketosis, and metabolic acidosis following. The consequence of hypoglycemia can cause seizure as well. And the last one, herbicide, will cause renal failure in the end. And all of these are the mystery of Khaosuk death. Thank you so much for all luminant professor that giving us knowledge and experience. Thank you for attention.